So as Deepa was saying that quite a few corporates are now coming out with schemes where women have moved out of the workforce to bring them back home. However, I feel that we ought to begin from home. And women, first thing is, they ought to be confident that if they are reaching a certain position, it is not a favored only. They are reaching there on their own merit. So what happens quite often, because it's sort of a new trend, though we have had a prime minister 3-4 decades ago, but still women coming into senior positions, so they want to keep everybody happy. You know, they just feel that I should not lose out on support from here, I should not lose out from support. So women, the very first thing is change. Let's change our mindset. We belong here, that's the reason we are here. That is one. The other is, I believe it's very important to make men allies in the women empowerment program. Very well, we talked about it. We cannot, and let's face it, we are not going to live in silos. We have to help each other, whether it is home or outside. So there are government policies, there are organizational policies, but we are now adding this term called belonging, DEIB, diversity, equity, inclusion and belonging. So do women feel belonged to that system? Are we enabling that ecosystem where a woman feels yes, and I can do it? Are we giving her support? Okay, if a woman has not come up to the level of a president in an organization, what is the HR's role? Is the diversity section of that? Making, sensitizing her to her role, making her part of certain workshops where she becomes confident that we can. Are they sensitizing the men she will be working with? That okay, this is a woman and she ought to feel this has to be done in a very subtle way. We cannot just have very straight-jacketed compartments. Okay, now she's coming, she's your boss. No, that doesn't happen. So we have to do it in a very subtle and a way that we feel, yes, it is happening. As you said, that if somebody is there, a woman is in a senior position, and the others feel, yeah, okay, she's there, I can do it. Rather than say, oh, she's there and you ought to be there. What happens to that journey of being there? I believe that is very important. And coming to the organizational setup, I believe we have to mind our language. We have to use more gender-neutral language. There is also this thing of, think manager, think men. We have to come out of that mindset. There is this boys' club syndrome. That these positions are meant only for boys. I believe a lot lies in the approach we take, because again I come back to the same thing. We are quite often in that checkbox mode. Let us feel everybody belongs there. And when we're talking, I'm not going to talk only about women. What about the PWDs? Why are we, Tata Group in India, we have Jimmy Jambal, who met with an accident 3 decades ago. He's in a very senior position. Person with disability because he lost his legs or something. How many PWDs do we have in the boardrooms? How many members of the LGBTQ community do we have in the boardrooms? Are we fighting our own mindset, judging them because they talk in a certain way, they dress up in a certain way? So till we do not actually enable the entire ecosystem and don't change the mindset, and I'm coming to the last point, family. Everything happens if you have the family support. In India, we still feel, as Sushma, you had mentioned, certain roles are meant for men, certain roles are meant for women. And then this job versus career. A guy will have to make a career, but a woman has to get a job. She can be a nurse, she can be a teacher. We have so many journalists, like I come from the journalism fraternity, and who've gone out in the battlefield. They are breaking barriers. We have photographers, international photographers, who are being invited outside because they are brilliant. So that is because that ecosystem has enabled, and that ecosystem, whether it is personal, whether it is social, whether it is organization, is something that we all have to focus on. That's where the mindset